to do practice twice per day.
That's good.
In the morning, I do the breathing practice which you give me with counting.
Yeah.
Slow breathing and counting. And in the evening, I do the pranamaya kosha practice, fast breathing, then slow breathing, and finally relaxation.
Okay.
So I did little bit change in practice.
Yeah.
So after practice, I became very quiet in the
Okay.
morning
Oh,
and
yeah,
in the
yeah.
evening. And after the pranamaya kosha practice, usually I feel the lightness in the body and
Okay.
and feel myself more fresh and light.
Light, yeah. And that remains for longer period, or it leaves you.
It takes few hours.
It takes few hours. Okay.
I'm trying to so hold my attention inside and to see what my sense organ receive from outside simultaneously, like what I see, what I hear, what I smell. But sometimes I lose it, sometimes it's back, so it's...
Yeah, I like to change that practice next week, so continue doing that practice. But did I talk about in the practice? I don't see. But yes, I talk about physical mind and the subtler mind. Perhaps I talked about it.
Yeah, but I cannot jump to the subtlest mind.
Yes, yes.
So I can have distance between what I see and space inside, but I cannot hold my attention on the point who is seeing.
Yeah, who is the seer? Yes, who is seeing or who is the seer? And
I understand that subtlest mind, it's a possibility to see the something, not important what to see, but exactly possibility. But catch it, it's
seer, yes. And that is why, see, Taurus, that is why every master, in one way or the other way, they tell purify the mind, remove that distraction. What is that purification? That the mind is subconsciously, habitually, conditionally, maybe through the animal mind, is heavily conditioned. One. What is the meaning of heavily conditioning? It is objectified. It wants to know everything with reference to an object in the world outside. So we have to drop that objectification. Is basically a purification of the mind. Because if the mind is objectified, then only we have desire, we have anger, we have duality, we have conflict, we have obsession, we have anxiety, we have reaction. And when this mind is not objectified, then where the mind is? Mind is naturally facing to the self. So now see, when I'm looking at you, yes, I'm looking at you, it is the physical mind, but the mind is also aware who is looking, who is seeing, who is the seer. And if the mind is totally purified, then it instantly knows it is not the eyes who perceive, it is not the mind who perceives, it is only one seer. It is only one seer. So this is one approach the Masters lays out, that can you understand the knower and the known, means object and subject are different. Do you understand? The eyes as a subject or a seer is one, but the objects are many. Because the objects cannot see the eye, it means the object is behind, the sense organ is behind the object. No object can ever see the eye. Oh, so who is that? I just become aware, no more thinking, after I understand the principle. Now the mind is the seer of all the sense organs, but the sense organ cannot see the mind. So the sense organs are the objects and the mind is the subject, mind is the seer. Now the mind is known by the self. What is that? In the beginning, take it, I'm aware the mind is changing. I'm aware the mind invites the thoughts from the past and object from the past. I understand this mind is not allowing me to go behind it. Why? Because it is scared, it is afraid, it is the death of the mind. So it creates a lot of challenges there. So we go back, we say, is mind purified? Do you understand the subject and object relationship? Do you really understand if I do not exist, no object in the world outside exists? If I am not there. So who is this I? Is this the mind? No. From where this I-ness came? Oh, that is the point of discovery. The more we contemplate and reflect while driving, who is the driver? I am the driver, but who is this I am? Is this body driver? No, I am not the body. I am not the sense organ. Who is this driver? Eating. Who is this guy eating? No, but it is going into the body. Who is this enjoyer? I am not the enjoyer. The mind has created, or you can say the mind has created that false ego that attaches to the objects outside, and that movement of attachment, that movement of awareness of an object creates an ignorance. It creates ignorance, it creates impurity, it creates distraction, it creates projection. It creates projection. So thank you, you respect me, you love me, you care me. Having said that, we are understanding another principle. I used to purchase a bouquet of rose flowers for every time I used to go to my master, and I used to offer that. Second, I learned one principle, that I had to offer something because my mind and ego must understand that it does not come casually, it does not come free. So I didn't have that amount of money, but still I used to save that money, which the mind wanted to use for obsession and craving. I said, no, I'm not going to touch this money. This belongs to my master. Two things, but I'm talking about the rose flower. So for at least 2 or 3 years, I used to offer. My master used to accept. And then I used to prostrate, used to touch feet, because I used to love master, respect my master. So after 2 or 3 years passed, One day my master said, "This is the last rose bouquet you are bringing. From today, no more rose bouquet." So I nodded my head. I said, okay, master. But the next time when I went to see my master, I purchased the rose bouquet again. So there was a sense of attachment in that, respect and love. So when you have an attachment with reference to the respect and the love, it is not respect and love. So I bought it, I offered, and the master took it and he threw it in front of 50 people. I told you not to bring it, you brought it, I don't accept it. Ego hurts. So I had a big face and the ego was hurt, and after an hour he asked me who was hurt. You are bringing respect and love in the form of a rose flower. Now the time has come. You already respect and love, but your rose flower is creating an attachment, hence I threw it. Do you understand? And at that time he explained there is a principle which is known as Manglacharan. What is Manglacharan? Literal translation is auspicious moment. Where? In the mind. That moment of grace and blessing I need to create in my mind to learn anything. What is that auspicious moment? Almost, why almost? I see every text, whether it is Upanishad, whether it is Sutra, or including Hatha Yoga text, Tantra text, every text. The first verse is related to Manglacharan, the auspicious moment. One way to move into that auspicious moment, I gave you the very first step of the practice that you have been doing it. One way to understand logically, rationally, is to understand the movement of the mind. First is the physical mind, then it is the subtle mind, subtler mind, subtlest mind. You can create your own qualitative states of the mind. So I introduced that. Manglacharan means auspicious moment. Auspicious moment means, one master says, keep your mind and the ego aside before you start learning the principles of Eastern wisdom. Further explanation, that your mind is aware and alert, it is not following its own habit. That creates the I-ness. It is not facing to the world outside, so that there is an openness in the mind to grasp and learn these principles and to progress. Outside terrace, outside, at the social level, that Manglacharan is prostration, physical prostration with a mental awareness. That you lie down in front of the master, you touch the feet, you seek the blessing, and then you start you offer an object in the kind, it is only because the mind should be open to learn. What is that open to learn? The mind keeps its awareness of the self. What it means? The mind is aware and facing to the self which is yet unknown, or the mind is facing inside. Patanjali says it is pratyak chetana, inward moving tendency of the mind. Even while talking to you, is the mind facing inside? Is the mind facing inside? Even while driving, is the mind facing to the self? Oh, I don't know the knower, but it is the driver. The knower is somewhere deep inside, eating, talking, doing anything. So every time traditionally we go to the master, he invokes, and that invocation of the auspicious moment is done by either Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, either by Asatoma Satgamaya. That goes little too far. But there are many other verses in every text. Every text. There are different verses, and it says we should have that auspicious moment. So that auspicious moment must open up my mind. Keep aside that ego. Keep aside that ego has another understanding. What the mind knows until today, it does not have a knowledge of the self. That is why we should drop it. Whatever the mind knows until today, it knows about husband, wife, money, room, country, city, problem in the body, it does not know the self. So it is not required. But the mind moves habitually, so we have to give a break. So when we prostrate, we say, okay, everything is done with the mind. We bring that something for the teacher. Okay. It opens the mind. That is known as Manglacharan, auspicious moment. Because you live into that auspicious moment, so I continue to respect and love my teacher. I feel his presence. Because that mind is 100% clear. The grace and the blessing takes place when we have that auspicious moment in the mind. So that is basically known as Manglacharan. So when Patanjali says Atha Yoga Anushashanam, the very first sutra, that meaning of the Ath is Manglacharan. He did not give any specific verse. So when Upanishad says Asatoma Asatgamaya, so he is pointing to the Manglacharan. Now what happens? I was giving a lesson. Beautiful girl, she always comes late. And she disturbs, after 10 minutes, she disturbs the entire group session. Because, she comes, I have to tick it, and everyone becomes alert. That too is a good thing. Every time she comes. And every time she says, I'm sorry. So there is no Manglacharan. The Manglacharan has to be introduced at every moment in my life. So I introduce through simplifying the principle, and we will go deeper in the next week through the physical mind, the subtle mind, the subtler mind, and the subtlest. So have that clarity of the physical mind means the mind that knows through the sense organ. Anything, any object that we know through our sense organ is the physical mind. Anything that we do not know from these sense organs is the subtle mind. So when I'm looking at the breath, the mind instantly becomes subtle. Do you know the breath is going in and out? Yes. Do you feel the breath? Yes. Feeling part is the physical. But when I know the breath is going in and out, it is the subtle mind. And then we add lot of steps into the breath awareness. That is what the Buddha did. And that is why he took only the breath, not because just to focus on the breath, but to bring about a change in the nature, in the state of the mind, until the mind becomes totally transparent so that it can reflect the self. So again the Manglacharan. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. I take refuge in Buddha, I take refuge in Dharma, I take refuge in Sangha. So now check it. Going back to the same experience, I went home, what my master taught me, the Manglacharan. So when I am into that state, free from attachment of the mind, whether I offer bouquet of rose flower or not, it does not make any difference. And then I left completely. Another journey I still remember. One day my master told me, now sit beside me on the chair. And I always used to sit down. I didn't listen to him. So after a few months he told me that you know that I am your guru, but you don't listen to me. You have your preferences. And then I realized my mistake and I started sitting beside him on the chair. Yes, I will do it. I will follow. So that following with a clarity and understanding is also part of the journey. So here comes, in understanding the Manglacharan, we have to keep in mind what to keep in mind. First, what is knowledge? Now I'm oversimplifying it again. What is knowledge? Awareness, knowledge and experience. Yes. Are you listening to me? Yes, you know it. Are you grasping it? Yes, you know it. Are you sitting in front of me? Why? Because there is an awareness, there is a knowledge, there is an experience. Now don't start learning these principles academically to become a philosopher. Philosophers never realizes anything. They always continue to suffer. They don't change themselves. So that is why we say in Eastern wisdom, understand the principle, let the teacher open it, have a clarity that there should be a doubt-free mind, the doubt-free intellect. Do you have it? Yes, now practice. Why to practice? To experience. It is not a dry intellectual exercise. But first is the knowledge. First has to be the knowledge. When the doubt-free intellect says, aha, now I understand, the self is here. So the mind says, let me desire for the self. So when I desire for a car, I have to go to the car dealer. When I desire for the self, the mind has to face inside. You see that? So I think, I desire myself. I desire this true nature. Where the self is located, it is located deep inside. So where the mind you should go, the mind should go inside. I have to buy a chicken, so I have to go to McDonald's. The mind instantly knows the location. Where is the self? I ask, where is the self? And then the mind naturally facing to the world outside, facing to the self inside. And when it faces to the self inside, you will find you have achieved that state of the Manglacharan. So first thing, what is that knowledge? It is awareness, knowledge and experience. Then we say what is right knowledge and what is wrong knowledge. Buddha always used the right before every eightfold path. The right knowledge, the right speech, the right thought, the right work, the right effort, the right memory, the right mindfulness. So, what is that right knowledge and what is that? You see, it is wrong knowledge for the sake of self-discovery. But it does not mean that wrong knowledge is bad. In two ways. So what is right knowledge? Now first is what is knowledge? The meditation becomes a flawless. It becomes a joy. What is knowledge? I gave three words. I am aware at this moment, yes. I know, yes. I have an experience, yes. Awareness, knowledge and experience. Then, what is right knowledge? That promotes viveka, vairagya, six treasures, and keeps my intense desire for the self-discovery. That is right knowledge. What is wrong knowledge? That promotes attachment, obsession, craziness. That pulls my mind down. It makes my mind physical, guided by the animal instinct. I lose hold of who am I. I become always aware of the world outside. So now we are understanding this knowledge part with reference to Manglacharan. So I am in the auspicious moment, the moment I see and experience the mind is facing to the self, and that mind is not creating any pressure for any object outside for the sake of attachment, duality and a conflict. It has to be done in the mind inside. So the right and the wrong knowledge. First is the knowledge, then the right and the wrong knowledge. Now, it is easiest thing to do, to live into that right knowledge, to keep that auspicious moment before the teacher, or even no teacher, you live into that auspicious moment. Only one understanding is required. the wrong knowledge it makes a backdoor entry. And for right knowledge, I have to think, I have to reflect, I have to make a choice. You cannot plan to be angry. You cannot plan to be obsessed. You cannot plan to be crazy. No way. Because then I have to think. I have to plan. I have to fix the day and time. So you see how clear they are? All the stress, suffering, obsession, attachment makes a backdoor entry. Backdoor entry, because to get rid of this backdoor entry, I have to continue to think and contemplate. That is why the second principle. Shravanam first and contemplation second. I have to think. So what I miss? Okay, now I have to eat my food. So mind, you are obsessed with this thing, so order this, eat this, get obsessed. So you have allowed the backdoor entry. Why not continue to think even at that moment? My goal is the self-discovery. On money, continue to have that awareness. There is no conflict between the two. No conflict between the two. Conflict comes, we will address that. So understand, again I'm talking, what is knowledge, awareness, knowledge and experience. Here and now, right knowledge and the wrong knowledge. Wrong knowledge, definitely I need. I need that wrong knowledge to exist in the world, but I'm aware. I'm aware, I'm living with the right knowledge while doing everything of the world outside to prevent the backdoor entry of the wrong knowledge and to allow the front entry of this right knowledge. And you will see the tremendous change here and now in that state. So, knowledge, awareness, knowledge and experience, right knowledge and left, wrong knowledge. The right knowledge has to make a front entry. You see that one has to knock the door to enter into your house. So through the thoughts and principles, we have to knock the mind to make an entry. Back door entry and the front entry. The next question, small questions come. Should I believe the right knowledge? Belief pending inquiry. I should believe, but it is pending query. When? All the time, during the practice. So I'm doing the practice, I'm understanding the principle, I'm applying those principles like a hypothesis to see if it is true or not. So I keep the doubt-free intellect. I had a wonderful friend like you in New Jersey. She met me. She is a Kundalini yoga teacher. And 12 years ago when I met her first time, I saw a kind of an obsession and attachment to the Kundalini master who is known as Yogi Bhajan. He is very famous. Very famous. He is known as that he introduced Kundalini meditations in US, and from US it went to different parts of the body. And I knew everything about Yogi Bhajan. So I didn't say anything. I said, very good, continue Kundalini. But while teaching Kundalini meditation, I used to introduce these principles. And she used to come to me and whisper, oh, but I didn't learn this. I said, I'm not teaching you because I have created these principles. But these are the eternal principles being applied for everything. I'm summarizing. Just about 4-5 weeks ago, Yogi Bhajan is crazy. She raped many women students who lived with her, and she wrote me a lot of stuff. Now question is, who is to blame? Socially, in the world, rape, you raped someone, you has to be booked. You are the worst guy. But question is, why I didn't start with Manglacharan? Why I moved with the wrong knowledge? Why I got attached to the master? So, if there is a real master, they will make you aware and alert that I love you, I respect you, but it does not mean that you need to be attached. That is what my master did. Why you got attached? Because you got attached, you followed the wrong knowledge. So first attachment and then the return detachment. First love, then hatred. So I told her, this is what you did. Whatever Yogi Bhajan did, so no, Yogi Bhajan is not wrong. I said that is not a topic of discussion. Why you went to him for awakening? Why you did not keep your mind and the intellect clear? Then she wrote me, he taught what is not there in Kundalini text. He created a cult. He created a Sikhism cult. He added that, he merged that. I said, I know it. Why you didn't tell me? I said, you were not ready 12 years ago. Why should I tell you? A good teacher should tell. I said, no. Why a good teacher should become a bad teacher? Because you are already obsessed with it. You were crazy. You were blindly following it. You could have never listened to me. You could not have talked to me now after 12 years. So I maintained a very thin line. And now you are telling me. So I asked her, are you complaining to me against him? I don't stand anywhere. He is a great master. He won the entire states. So when I explained this principle of Manglacharan, her mind became clear. So my objective is not to give more bad name to Yogi Bhajan. That's not my journey. I'm not interested. But because you have come to me, let me explain you what is Manglacharan. Why student has to prostrate before the teacher. Even if the teacher's feet is very dirty, you have to touch it. It is because of changing the mind and creating an auspicious moment. She is a writer, she is author of many books, contemporary books in US, so it is that? I said yes. I gave the both examples. So understand that. Right knowledge when the mind is very clear, and when the mind is clear, the doubt-free mind is there, the doubt-free intellect, you can treat the path easily. But it takes time. That's why I'm invoking these principles. What it means by the purification of the mind, what it means by the doubt-free intellect. And so we understood practically one principle in the previous practice to play with the physical mind, subtler mind, subtlest mind. You are not thinking, you see that there is only an awareness. Okay, live into that awareness only. Then the thought comes, the moment the thought comes, it is objectified mind. Okay, continue coming in way. No issue, stay there, I have no problem. So then you will realize, oh, this is the auspicious moment. Then you see only the seer inside. You'll understand that. Another way to understand that existential problems versus problems coming from the world. The mind does not want to leave its own habit conditioning because it claims that existential problem can also be solved by the same way we solve our personal, professional, social, and family problems. Let us take an example of personal problem. Hunger. You are hungry. Hunger is a problem. What I do? I have to eat my food. Hunger is gone. But my mind knows that I have to repeat it again and again. Hunger, food, hunger, food, hunger, food. An urge to go to the restroom, I have to repeat it. I have to repeat it. This is the problem of the world outside. What is existential problem? Now see that. Hunger, food, it is gone at least for 8 to 10 hours or 12 hours or whatever you say. What about my anxiety? It continues. That is existential problem. Hatred, existential problem. See that. Love, existential problem. See that. Just look at it, understand that. Suffering. The suffering includes all my anxiety, hatred, love, attachment, obsession, craziness, and everything. You disliked someone, you said something nasty to a person, and you said the event is already past, and after a week you meet the same guy again, and your physical, your mental, your body becomes alert, stiff, face changes, the mind returns with the same event. Does the mind return with the same feeling of hunger? No. Oh, I'm hungry, come on, let us go to the restaurant, eat, this, finished. That is why our masters say this is suffering. We have to bring an end to the suffering caused by the mind. Existential problem and the worldly problem. You know, you can go to any part of this earth planet. Food is there. We can eat. Now see what the mind does. I think you also asked me some down the line, maybe last year. I have an anxiety, bring an end to the suffering, go for austerity, go to the Himalayas, you take your brain and the mind there. You still suffer. Existential problem. You see that?
Any external objects bring us suffering, because as soon as external objects
Yes.
so you see it, you want it, and finally it comes to suffering. It's no depend of activity. Any activity, finally it's suffering.
A very good point. It does not depend on activity, because either I perform an activity, I do not perform an activity, it has nothing to do with my anxiety and the hatred and the love. I have to understand it. I have to change that very mind which is facing to the world. I explained it what you told me just now. So the action cannot solve the existential problem, but action has to prepare me. The action with the knowledge prepares me to become a seeker. Once I am seeker, now I am absorbed into meditation. I see the mind is moving outside, objectified, attached and obsessed. Oh, that causes the problem. So let me drop that attachment and obsession and craziness. Oh, I dropped it. There is no problem. Oh, this is the way. So mind is facing outside. Now let the mind face inside. There is no problem at all. You're right in that. So we have to separate existential problem with the problems coming from the world. Now see, at a very higher stage, very high stage, hunger is there, I need a food, that is the habit of the mind. Now you live into a higher stage. You have removed the fear of not eating food because the body and the mind declares that you are hungry. So that fear is taken away from the hunger. Why? You are not the body. Hunger is always there in the body at a very higher stage. So even that problem in the world, you transcend that and you go beyond that. So then what happens? The body acclimatizes itself. Consciousness knows there will be a food, then you feel hungry and you eat it and finish. It does not come as an animal instinct. The two difference.
For body, it's animal instinct, but it's not touch me.
Yeah. So because I'm not the body, the mind is totally purified. There is no sense of attachment. So when the existence knows when you exactly need food for this body. The animal mind with the body creates a habit. Morning breakfast, evening lunch, then dinner. It is an animal habit we have created. I don't feel hungry, but still mind says, no, you are hungry. It is the time for lunch. So there are many masters. One of them I saw Aurobindo, and I met a couple of the masters, like U.G. Krishnamurti. Did you remember?
Yeah.
Half cup rice, another half cup cream, 24 hours food. That is only. And 1 cup tea. So sometimes people go to that extent. In order to maintain that state. We go in a different way. My master went totally in a different way. He always enjoyed, so-called, it appeared that he always enjoyed food in the ashram. But that was a play and a fun. So 2 points. existential problem and the problem in the world. I should have a neat and a good dress in order to give a lesson to a workshop. Yes. But deeper inside, you don't see it as an existential problem. If you don't have it, whatever is available, you go with it. So you don't allow the problem in the world to enter into you. And you continue the journey. So what happens when you keep the mind clear about the problems coming from the world and the existential problem coming from the mind due to the ignorance? Again, you live in that auspicious moment. What is that auspicious moment? Awareness, knowledge, and experience. What is that? You keep aside what is known by the mind until today. You said, just hold on. I don't need you. Mind is open. You are a seeker. It is the subtlest mind. It follows the right path. People miss this principle. So I said, let me talk about this principle.